Hi there. My name is Jennifer Vanderbeek, and normally you would find me tweeting and scoping and blogging and, well, everything under the name Scraps of Life. But today I'm over here on the Crafty Branch channel because the Crafty Branch is a business I started last year. And what we do is we put out what I call Creative Mischief kits. They're activity kits meant for adults, grown-ups, because, kids get all the good toys, is what I've decided. And that's not fair. We deserve fun stuff. And I've also observed that, kids kind of are innately creative, whereas adults, sometimes we get it in our head that, oh, I'm not creative, or, oh, that's frivolous, that's, it's not practical. And so we push off our creativity. And I don't want that to happen. I don't think that that's really a great thing to do. So I created the Creative Mischief kits to provide basically everything you need to try out a new hobby, learn a new skill or technique, or just, do something fun. And I don't know about you, but I love unboxing videos. And so what I thought would be fun, since we're a small company and we're still getting the word out about us, I thought it would be fun to basically take you through a walkthrough or sort of a preemptive unboxing so that, you can get an idea of what's in our kit. This is going to be for the latest kit we put out. This is our Print Your Heart Out kit. It's all about jelly plate printing. And yeah, so whether you're watching this live on Periscope or later on Catch or eventually on our YouTube channel, I hope you like what you see and that this will give you a better idea of what actually makes up a Creative Mischief kit. So let's go to it. So here is the outside box of the kit. We put these this is something we've recently started doing, is putting these little labels on here. This is our mascot, the Professor Monkey Shine. Because again, this is Creative Mischief, so I thought Monkey Shines was kind of a cute play on words, and I have a thing for monkeys. But it says, clear the decks and put on some music. Your license to create some creative mischief is right inside this box. And then, yes, you can find us at thecraftybranch.com. All right, opening up the box. First thing you see is there's going to be a little pouch of something tucked underneath the paper twine in here. This is not an official part of the kit, but it is something that I try to include in every kit. It's a little bonus, a little thank you for ordering from us, and I like to theme it when possible to the kit. So because this is for jelly print, this kit is all about the jelly print, or the jelly plate. What I've done is I've put together just some assorted materials that you can use to create texture and voids and other interesting effects when you're making prints. So in here we have some punchinella, and behind that is some wax paper. Then you can see there's some lace and tulle, some Q-tips, drywall tape, and baker's twine. And you can use all those things to create patterns and texture on your jelly plate. So that's just a little extra thank you that I like to include in the boxes. And each kit has different types of thank yous in it. Now, the next thing that's poking out of the paper is our insert, our informational insert. Let's see if it'll focus, maybe. There we go. Every kit that we put out, all of our Creative Mischief kits, has one of these inserts, and they start with a little letter from me to you telling you what went into putting the kit together, or why I think this is a fun thing to try. Then there is a list of everything that's inside the kit, and of course how to find us on social media. And then inside and on the back are some tips or instructions, and my ceiling fan is blowing this around. Tips, instructions, color photographs of what to do with the contents of the kit. And, it continues onto the back. So, just because you're experimenting and learning on your own doesn't mean you're completely on your own, because you've got this to help. All right, so now we're going to get into the heart of the kit here. All of our kits are wrapped in tissue paper, and this is paper twist. This is actually twisted paper. You can, if you are into mixed media or recycling or upcycling, you can actually untwist this and use this in your artwork. So, you know. All right. Then, again, this is the Print Your Heart Out kit. And so it is all about this little guy right here. This is the Gelli Arts 5" by 5" student gel printing plate. This is pretty much fabulous. I love using this. I was really excited to put this kit together because this is just such a fun technique. And the 5" by 5" plate is such a good size to start with because they make them in all different sizes, and you can actually even make your own. The ingredients aren't tough. But this is a good size to kind of try it out. If you're not sure if you're going to want to invest in a large plate, then this is a good size to start with. So yeah, this is the heart and soul of the plate. Now, of course, to print, you need paints. So in this kit, we've included the primary colors. So we've got primary yellow, primary red, primary blue, graphite, and snow white or titanium white. And we all and with those you can you know, even though I know that's only technically 5 colors, we've also included a color wheel. So, you know, if most people know that, you know, yellow plus blue makes green, but with those 5 paints, you can create a lot of colors. And this wheel will help you kind of decide what's going to go well with what, how, you know, what you're going to get when you mix in the white or the black. So this is a really useful tool for a lot of different reasons. And then along with the paints, we've also included a bottle of drying time extender medium. Now what that does is that you can use it to thin the paint, but it also does what it says on the label. It extends the drying time, and that can be useful if you're doing if you're wanting to do multiple prints, or what's called a primary print and a ghost print. Something like that can help you get there, whereas, you know, the acrylic paints can, well, they can dry out. I mean, that's what they do, and that's a useful technique for some projects, but sometimes you want a little bit more time to play with it, and so mixing in the extender with a little bit of the paint, that can help you out too. All right. Now, you can apply the paint in a couple different ways. One of the ways is with a brayer. So we have a brayer from this. Currently, we've got them from the Mod Podge brand brayer and squeegee set. Depending on availability, some brands may change, but the overall contents of the kit will always stay the same. Although, you know, we only stock so many, so, you know, kind of depends on the interest, whether we will restock them once we're sold out. So anyway, this is the brayer, so that's one excellent way, probably the default way, I'd say, of applying or spreading the paint around on the plate. But you can also use brushes. So we have an assortment of 4 brushes. Now these are sturdy bristles, so you can actually use them for a lot of different things. But I really like the fan brush personally, but yeah, I mean, so you've got some choices, and I love these. I actually really like the Royal Brush line, and they have the padded, kind of the rubber grip there. I guess it's not really padded so much, but it's a lot more comfortable to hold. I like this brand for when I'm doing more traditional painting as well. Now, you could just add paint to your plate and print it, but then, you know, you could do that with a lot of things. You could do that with, you know, just a square stamp. So the interest comes from adding texture. So I've included a pair of texture combs. These are from Martha Stewart Crafts. These are technically like a wood grain, but you know, you can experiment with them and create the different types of lines and waves and designs in the paint before you pull your print. And we also have included in here, there are 3 stencils. Thanks to a good deal at the distributor and what was available when we ordered, we actually are able to include it's technically one large and one small, but I was able to put two small ones in the kit. These are all by the Crafter's Workshop. So this particular kit has a quatrefoil design, a wood grain, and then this great sort of like stained glass window looking thing. Yeah. And now each kit may have different stencils in them, or yeah, stencils, templates. Just it kind of depends on what was available when we placed our orders with the distributor. You know, things are and aren't available at different times. So, but you will always, for at least for this round of the Print Your Heart Out kits, you will get 3 stencils. And yes, this is a lot bigger than that 5-inch plate, but you can use a portion of it. You can center it on there. You can use a side, and of course, you can use these templates for all sorts of things. I mean, they're not just for jelly printing. So then, of course, in order to make prints, you have to have something to print on. So we have a couple of different types of paper. First, in this larger pack, we have some basic 8.5 by 11 white cardstock and some 8.5 by 11 white copy paper. And the cardstock is great for pulling prints. The copy paper is fabulous for picking up excess color when you're working with the stencils, or, you know, creating designs, or you're wanting to do ghost prints, or just, you know, cleaning off your brayer by rubbing it on a clean sheet of paper. And then we've also included some fancy cardstock. This is a really nice heavyweight. You can see that the edges are a little bit fuzzy. That's not a trick of the camera. These are actually, it has a slight decal edge, so they're really nice. These are about, I think they're 6 1/4 inch square sheets of really heavy duty, really nice stationery paper, and those are great for when you want to pull your fabulous final print kind of thing. And then the last thing we've included is some wet wipes, and they have our logo on them. You know, art's messy. Printing, the jelly printing can be a little messy. So yeah, we included these. The plates themselves don't get super, well, they do get messy, but you pull a print with your paper and that takes off the paint, and you can keep doing that, and you can leave the, I'm going to start packing things back up now that we've gone through it all. You can leave bits of paint on there and kind of create interesting layers through that. Or there's some techniques that are described in the pamphlet about, oops, I forgot to put the big stencil away first. Let me put that back in there. Yeah, that there are different techniques you can do where the paint's dried on there versus when it's wet. Or if you really want a clean slate, then you can clean the jelly print plate or the jelly plate with, you know, a spritz of water or a wet wipe. And of course, you know, if your hands get a little messy, which, you know, that happens too, well, then, you know, we've got you covered there. Either way, you're good. So yeah, I am just putting this all back together so that whomever orders this kit gets their kit all nice and assembled. All right. I'll do the tying. But before I end here, I did want to show you just some of the things that I did with the kit when I was preparing the sample. This was just a background piece that I had the plate stuck to so that it wouldn't shift around on me. But, you know, it kind of, because of the off casts from the paint, it kind of actually makes a neat frame, and I'm sure I can use that in a collage somewhere. This is using that wood grain stencil, and it's a couple of different layers of print and paint. And then This is what I was talking about when you clean your brayer off. You just run it across paper to kind of get the excess paint or ink off there. But you know, if you save this, this can be cut up and used in collage or, you know, anything. So don't throw any of this stuff away just because you think it looks like trash, because this could be used as a background in an art journal, or as a card background if you put something over it for, like, you know, a grunge look. Absolutely. Here's a piece of just copy paper, and this is when I was experimenting with painting the colors on and then lifting pieces off. So this print up here is what happened when I had the plate and the paint and the stencil over top, and I took away what was showing through, and then this was the negative print from the side of the stencil that had been in contact with the paint. So yeah, that's, again, those are like things. Here's some more. I think this is kind of some, yeah, this is some more brayer stuff. What do I have around here? Another backing sheet, and I'll show you. This was actually for a product. Now, I have included paint with the kit only because that is kind of the traditional, that's what you usually use it with. But that's not to say that you can't do other things, and I'm looking for that project. This is, yeah, see the white spot. This is a little print that I did using ink, using stamping ink instead of paint on the brayer. Now, you should know that stamping ink can stain your jelly plate, but it doesn't actually stop it from doing its job. So a little stain is not going to be the end of the world. But I used 2 colors of stamping ink and let them kind of mix in the middle. I had a blue and a yellow, and that's how I got that gorgeous green gradient going on in there. Then I used some of the some bubble wrap, which is also, you can see it's the green stuff kind of poking in there, peeking out of there. But I used some bubble wrap to create some texture. I used some small rubber stamps to remove some of the ink before I pulled my print. And then once the print was pulled, I decorated it into, well, this. And I really love using the stamping inks almost more than I do the paint. Here's some more paint bits. This is just kind of experimenting with how much ink to use. And here is, and you can see the difference here. This is the same design between these two pieces, okay? This is the primary print. This was the first print pulled. And then this gorgeous soft print here, this is what's called a ghost print. This is what happens when you pull one print, you set it aside, and you immediately pull another. And I gotta say, sometimes I really like the ghost prints just as much, if not more, than I like the originals. I mean, these are vibrant, but I love these soft backgrounds. So you'll find in the instructions, and you kind of experiment, but this is a great thing to do, again, because you might actually like it better, or you might have a great use for that, like a card back. And oh, and here's some more off prints, and you see that, okay, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And these are 5-inch squares, and I've overlapped them. And again, this is going to make like a fabulous background in an art journal or something. Okay, so this is a double layered, the first layer of print I laid down was the graphite, where I just taken and drawn some wide chevrons in, and then I re-inked my my plate with yellow, and I used those texture combs from Martha Stewart, and I turned the paper a quarter turn so that then my chevrons would be intersecting, kind of like that, perpendicular to one another. And again, that would make a great card back or journal spread. This was an experiment. Okay, so I love watching the tutorials on Clarity Stamp UK on the on YouTube, and Barbara Gray is amazing with her jelly plate. I'm in awe. I want to be like her when I grow up. She shows this technique of how you can build up layers intentionally, kind of, you know, you lay down the top layer and you just kind of keep going. and to build a single print. And so I was kind of experimenting with that, trying to do like a watermelon slice on it with, with the seeds and the rind and the background. And you can see that, well, maybe you can tell that's what they are. It was an experiment, and that's the thing. But, these aren't necessarily, they may not have been exactly what I had in mind, but I'm also not like, I don't hate them. I can do something with this. Whether it's collaging around it or over it, or, decorating with who knows what. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but that's part of the fun. Gelli printing is all about the exploration and happy accidents. This one got a little closer to what I had in mind. You can see I used the texture plate here in the rind. I used the brush to kind of create the grass area. I used Q-tips to both remove the pink paint and add the black in its place. And then, but then you can also see there was some residue of the pink layer when I did the final print. And then this is actually sort of what was left over after my experiment was done. There was still some paint on the plate. So I used some white and yellow in the background to kind of make a light background, and then pulled the print and it picked up the residue. And so this is sort of like a ghost image as well. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. And okay, so here's a little random thing. Oh, here we go. We do have more. Okay, here's some more of that wood grain multicolor experiment. This is the first use I had of it, and there was a little air bubble, so I had to kind of work that out. Here's another experiment with rubber stamps and stamping ink on my plate. Oh, and I loved these too. So I created the background and I used the rubber stamps to remove, instead of stamping the ink on, you're actually using it to lift it off. It's really kind of neat. So I created this background and I love this. And then I made a ghost print of it and then overprinted it with just some direct stamping. And then onto the plate and then pulled the print. And then this was the ghost print of that. If you followed that. But like this I love. This is gorgeous, and it's definitely something I will use in another project. So that is, like I said, this is the Print Your Heart Out kit from the Crafty Branch. And if you have any questions, again, we're going to put this up on our YouTube channel. I think it'll be our first YouTube video after I download it and do all that stuff. And if you have any questions about the kit, by all means, leave them in the comments section, or you can email us at thecraftybranch@gmail.com. Or you can find us online on Instagram, we're The Crafty Branch. On Twitter, we're The Crafty Branch. On Facebook, we're, guess what? The Crafty Branch. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough, that sort of preemptive unboxing, and that now you have a better idea of what sort of things you can find in a Creative Mischief kit. Now, we have 5 kits out currently. This is just the Print Your Heart Out kit is just the latest one. And so I hope you'll give them a look. Again, our website is www.thecraftybranch.com, and you can find out all about us there. All right. Bye-bye.